Oh, Elizabeth, good to see you here. What do you think about coconut oil? Is it better than lard? Some say coconut has more saturated fat. No, it's not as low in deuterium. What coconut does is actually puts all the deuterium in away from the fruit into the actual water. So the coconut water is very high in deuterium. Actually, it's higher than actually water. So it can actually get up to 160 parts per million. So coconut water is the worst water you can consume for deuterium. It's very high. So throw it away. Never consume coconut water. But coconut oil is low in deuterium, but not as low as lard. And it depends. It varies. Sometimes it can be a bit lower than lard. Sometimes it can be a bit higher than lard. It really depends. There's a lot of factors. A lot of plant deuterium levels are very inconsistent because it depends on the environment they grow, where animal foods are not, because there are a whole lot of enzymes. Like we've got the ability to deplete deuterium, so do animals. And so they usually are consistent. Where the difference is between a plant and an animal, a human and an animal, the difference is the food source. Let me just go back and retract everything I said there. Not humans or animals. All these vegan damn things are confusing me, Blinky. Damn vegans. I need to get them out of my mind, Elizabeth. Okay. Grass, pastured, or foraging animals compared to grain-fed animals. The grain-fed animal is going to have more deuterium in the food, and as a consequence, it'll actually end up with more in its body. So it will have slightly more deuterium. That's another point. Now, coconut has other problems. If you come from Northern Europe, you may have a salicylate problem. I know you don't. You come from your origins, some of your origins are from Southern Europe. So it's not a problem, because most Southern Europeans, from Spain right through to Greece and Cyprus and parts of the Middle East and all that, pretty much all that population, we're talking about, so Portugal, right through to Iran and beyond, all that sort of those areas have been exposed to salicylate foods for thousands of years. So they have an adaptation, they're fine. So coconut is fine. For Northern Europeans, it can be a problem because the downside of coconut versus animal fats is this: fat-soluble vitamins. So if I was to take a gram of butter or a gram of coconut oil or a gram of lard or a gram of coconut oil, I would always pick the animal food, because I'm not only getting the fats, I'm also getting the fat-soluble vitamins. And it's critical. We need them to regulate the collagen-degrading enzymes, the matrix metalloproteinases in our bodies, if we want to maintain good structural integrity of our skeletal muscle system. So very important that we actually consume foods that are much higher in fat-soluble vitamins, because in our current diet, or the way most of us have lived, we don't get much. So, and lard is very, and as you've seen my studies on the studies that I've shown about even cooking, in order to basically turn any animal food that is going to have not trace elements of oxidative products, but massive, and even then it wasn't massive, it was just slightly elevated. You had to basically cook the damn stuff, the pork, for 36 hours. Now, nobody's going to cook for that long. And it actually, when you cooked it for a bit over an hour, it actually made things better. So I tend to nowadays cook my meat over on specific foods like pork. Other foods, I just cook them for about 15 minutes because I like my beef more rare, so because I find it becomes too tough. Where with pork, no, it actually becomes, it's very different. I prefer cooked more. unless I'm having bacon, like smoked bacon, and then I'll have some raw smoked bacon, which is from foraged animals. I've shown you before on the stuff that I buy. It's from foraged animals, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's local Tasmanian. I know the source, and they're pretty clean in that regard. But yes, I prefer. Look, I've used coconut oil in the past, but I usually recommend animal foods. We're better adapted to them, and we're going to get better micronutrition from them as well, from the fats.